Okay. Okay, so let's move on. I found a way to record the sessions. So as I was saying, I said there's like a golden rule to that maybe not a, there are a set of rules that govern every programming language that makes it a programming language. So if you follow these rules, or if a set of language follows these rules, it means that it is a programming language. So um one of it is what's called please hold on. There are a lot of gaps in between today's class, and it is understandable because this is our first class, and I hope that the subsequent classes will not be like this, because we would have um dotted our t's and crossed our i's. So for now, please just bear with us. It's very important that we have this message, this session recorded. And I'm trying as much as possible to, carry everybody along and not waste this good class by just leaving it um, just like that without trying to do something about this recording. So as I was saying, programming languages they have a set of rules that govern them. And okay. And these rules include things like indentation, um, line by line syntax, and all of that. Um, all programming languages kind of like have these rules, but then the way they write it is different in each programming language. Let's say in Python now, the way I will write a conditional statement will be different from the way I will write it in JavaScript. But if it is a programming language, it should have a conditional statement. So I don't know if that makes sense to you. And then the indentation. In programming language, for instance, okay, let's say for Python, for instance, if you want to write um, maybe indentation is very important when it comes to Python. Python takes indentation very seriously. We'll get to that when we eventually install Python and start writing our codes. But I'm just trying to let you know that there are these rules that actually govern programming languages. And so you have things like, if it is a proper programming language, of course, it will have conditionals, it will have loops, and variables and all of that. All of these things, I'm trying not to jump the gun, but I'm sure that you will get there with if we follow the process we are going through. But at the same time, I'm also tempted to like jump and try to buttress my points. But it's fine, we'll get there. So um Python, like I said, or like someone has said, is a general purpose high level programming language. So what this means is that, yes, please. Yes, please. You were should I call you Yomi or Mary? Please ask your question. Okay. So like I've explained what high level programming languages mean and low level programming languages. So Python, lucky for us, is an high level programming language, meaning that it is close to human understanding, and then it uses an interpreter to interpret to the computer what we are trying to say. So um it is general purpose in sense that uh Python is used in in a lot of fields. When you talk of data analysis or data science, you use Python. If you are talking of robotics, cyber security, web development, and all of those things, you use Python. It is a general purpose language, and that makes it one of why it is so important, because whether you are doing web development or you are just a data scientist or something, if you know Python, it is sure that you can just go ahead and learn Python. So tomorrow, if you say, I don't want to, I want to like move from, let's say, data science, I want to start delving into, say, robotics or AI, um, or I want to go into, what's it called now? Cybersecurity. With your knowledge of Python, all you might just need is to learn, how it is being used in that new field. But of course, if you know the basics of Python, you're not like starting from the scratch. So Python was developed by Guido van Rossum or Rossum. Yes, Guido van Rossum in the late 90s, I think around 1999, while working at a national research institute at Netherlands. And well, okay, I think that was around 1989. Then it was officially introduced to the general public around the early 90s. Python is recommended as first programming language for beginners. And the reason is it's so easy to understand. If you're a beginner and you're trying to learn programming, it's so easy to like understand Python, because one, Python is close to English language. When we get to writing codes, you understand what is meant by Python is close to English language. And also, it's just simple to follow along and all of that. Not like you won't have your edic with the code and all of that, but if you follow the syntax rules and all of those things, you realize that it's easier to grasp Python as a first language than when you go into learning C or learning Java, or some other programming languages. I started learning programming languages with JavaScript, and that's understandable because I started from learning front end development, and JavaScript was a major part of front end development. But the second language I picked up was Python. And after Python, with the knowledge of Python and of course JavaScript, I've been able to pick up other languages like C, Java, and the rest of them. So Python it's easier to learn Python than when you're trying to like learn a lot of times people say if you are trying to learn a programming language, the first language you should pick up is Python. So okay, let me share with you some features of Python so that probably to ease your mind and then to make you understand um the Python environment better. So, number one, Python is simple and easy to learn. Simple and easy to learn, meaning that when we read Python programs, we can feel like we are reading English because it's close to English. You see something like if If A is not B, print A is not in B. In other languages, you will not see something like, you will not see things like is not inside. So it's easy to like move along because it's actually close to English language. And don't worry, you get to understand what I mean by close to English language with time when we start coding actually. So we also have uh okay, Python is open source, meaning that uh, its source code is open. Like it's not like some closed source programming language that you will need to like maybe get permission to use or anything like that. And then you can customize based on your requirements. Python is a high level programming language, like I said, because it's close to human understanding. Then the platform of Python is independent. Once we start writing a Python program or Python code, it can run on any platform that can run Python. So it's not like, let's say, it's not like, for instance, let me use Java as an example. If I write a Java code on my system, if you don't have Java installed on your system, you cannot run it. So for Python, you can run it anywhere as far as it is a coding environment. Then Python programs are usually portable. We can, migrate from one platform to another very easily. Python programs will provide the same results on any program or any platform that you are using it on. So Python is dynamically typed. Like somebody mentioned something that had to do with dynamics earlier. So in Python, we are not required to declare type of variables. I'm not sure if everybody here is familiar with programming or what types mean, or if you already code in TypeScript. So type is after you declare your variable, you specify the type of variable and all of that. We'll get to that when we start coding proper in the coding arena. But for now, you should be rest assured that um you don't have to like declare the types of variable before you use it like some other programming languages do. Whenever we are assigning the value, just assign your value. You don't need to start having type. Unless an example is Java or C, for instance. You cannot create a variable without declaring the type of variable you are creating. So for instance, if you want to create a string, I know things like strings and all of those things might not be familiar now, but with time you get to understand what they mean. So if I'm saying name is equal to Ade, in Python, I can just say name is equal to Ade and it's fine. But when you are using some other languages like maybe Java, C, and the rest of them, or even TypeScript, you cannot say name is equal to Ade. You will have to declare that the variable name is a string. So you have something like string name is equal to Ade, you have to make sure that you declare the type. But Python allows for you to, discard that and just create your variable. So Python is both procedure oriented and object oriented. So Python, that means that Python supports procedure oriented like C, Pascal and the rest of them, and object oriented like C++, JavaScript and all of that. So object oriented means that it can it uses objects. Do you understand? You can create an instance of an object and use in your code. Again, like I said, you get to understand with time. So I mentioned earlier that when you are having a high level programming language, there's always a middleman that interprets to the computer in the language that the computer understands. So Python is an interpreted language. You are not required to compile Python. So if you are familiar with C, I doubt if there's anybody here who knows C, who knows how to write C. But let's say you know how to write C and you write a C program, you have to make sure that you compile it first before running the code. So every time you update your code, you have to compile first, then run it. Then you compile, then you run, then you compile, then you run. But in Python, you don't have to compile your Python code. Once you write it, just run it. The interpreter will set in motion and everything will be fine. You don't have to take the time to start compiling your code before running. So if compilation fails, the interpreter will raise syntax errors. Again, when we get to start coding, you understand what syntax errors are. So Python has a rich inbuilt library. You The Python library is very rich, and of course there are a lot of things that you don't have to now start in how would I use it how would I say installing before you can use in Python. Like there are inbuilt libraries, a lot of them that you can use in Python, and I'm sure that um people with data, let's say data analysts now, I'm sure they use libraries like Lumpy, Pandas and the rest of them for um manipulating data. So you also have libraries, Python libraries that you use for fintech, that it's just for fintech, financial calculations and all of that. So those people in the sector where they deal with finance, like maybe banks and the rest of them, use that. So their Python libraries are vast and they are very rich. So with that said, how many people have Python on their system? Do we all have Python on our systems, on our laptops? Okay, so okay, that's fine. So now we are going to the next thing we need to do now is to start the installation of Python so that everybody will have Python on their system. Is that okay? Okay, that's fine. So now let's okay, let me share my screen now. Oh, can you all see my screen, please? How many people can see my screen? Okay. Okay, so please head over to Python. Let me try and make my screen much more visible. Yes. So please head over to python.org/downloads, and then you click on download. This is the latest version of Python. So you just click on download, and it will download the latest version of Python. But I don't think I need it, so I'm just going to cancel this download. But just click on download Python 3.12.2. Or if that is not what you want to do, you can scroll down and see different release versions of Python, and then you can choose which one you would download. Usually, when you see different versions of Python like this, don't go for the first one, because usually the first one is still like the unstable version. But from the second one downwards, you can choose whichever um, whichever Python version you want to download. So here we have 3.12.2, and that's what you have here, because that's the stable version. This one is still new. They are still probably testing and working on it. It's not stable yet. So just download 3.12.2. Depending on what you are using. If you are using Mac, you download for Mac. If you are using Windows, you download for Windows. Have we all done that? Okay, so fine. Now that you have done that, all you need to do is go to your downloads, your file downloads, and click on it so that it will install on your system. Python installation is usually very easy. And then, how many people have been coding before? If you have been coding before, please can you signify? Or if yes. So how many of you have been coding on your system before now? Okay. Is anybody through with the installation yet? Okay. You know what? I think you should share your screen so that I can see. I will stop sharing mine. Since I am not downloading, I have Python on my system already. So please go ahead and share your screen. Yes, we can. Install now. No, just click on install now. I can. How many people can see our screen, please? Is there anybody else who is not seeing Catherine's screen? Is there anybody else who is not seeing Catherine's screen? Yes, please. Are you sure you want to cancel? What are you canceling? Okay. Okay. So you go to your CMD prompt now. No, 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 no. Your CMD prompt. Okay. So from there, just go to your desktop. cd desktop. That's the command to change directory. Okay, so let's see if you have Python on your, okay, ls. So that's the list of what you have on your desktop, right? So we are not, okay. Check, let's check if you have Python on your system. Type Python space dash dash version. You have Python. Can you see you have Python on your system now? That's the version of Python that you have in your system. So you can close the command prompt. Does anybody know what a command prompt is and what it is used for? Okay, so go to your the start button on your Windows. Search for Python. Um, search for IDLE. Yes, IDLE. Yes, just click open. Click on open. No, 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 no. Go down. Yeah. Go, no, no, no. To the right. To the right. Open. So idle is a text editor where you actually write your code. So fine, you have Python on your system, but you need a text editor where you will be writing your code. Do you understand? And idle is more or less like it's a default text editor that comes with Python when you install your um when you install Python on your system. So it comes with a text editor that you can use, to practice and all of that. So for the sake of this class, we'll be using idle for now. Then that was why I was asking if anybody is already familiar with coding before now. So with time, we will move to another text editor called Virtual Studio Code, VS Code. I don't know if one or two people must have heard about Virtual Studio Code. Oh, okay, fine. Yes, I can see the icon. So for now, we'll be using iDo. Then with time, when we start coding proper, we can use VS Code. But it's fine if you have VS Code already, you can, continue using VS Code. And if you don't, just know that iDo comes with Python, and you can use iDo for your coding for now. Okay, so now that you have that, I would share my screen now. Can you stop sharing your screen? You're welcome. Okay, please confirm if you can see my screen. Okay, great. I do. Okay, so before we even start, there's something I want to show you guys. Here, if I'm using my command prompt, I can easily, um, okay, yes, please, you can use VS Code if you have VS Code. Okay, okay, can you see my screen better? So if you want to code some things on your um, command prompt, you can easily just to enter the Python shell where you can easily type Python code and run it on your virtual what am I on your command prompt. Just type Python. Whenever you see these three lines, these three greater than sign together like this, just know that you are in a Python environment and the system is expecting you to write a Python code. So it is different from this. Oh, please hold on. It is different from this where you are in the computer environment where you can probably change directory or go to wherever you want to go to. But when you are here, it means that the computer is in a Python shell and you can write your Python code. So for instance, I can say A is equal to 10. Okay. Yes, I can. Okay, I will stop sharing my screen. Please share yours. Okay. Okay, I know what the problem is. You are trying to open Python, the Python file, the Python program file in what's it called? In VS Code. No, close it. I will show you how to just close this. No, 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 no. Close. No. Can you see the file that is giving you where you have Python 3.12 blah blah? Just close it. Okay. So if you are using VS Code, can you see where you have file up there? Go to, okay, let's say you want to create a new folder. So click on new folder. Oh, new, okay, okay. Click on new window because you already have something. I don't want to interrupt with that. So here you have open folder, blah 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 blah, and all of that. So if you go to your, there are two ways of doing things. You can either open a folder on your system, let's say on your desktop. Okay, please stop sharing your screen so I can take over. So there are different ways. I can use my, let me exit from this Python shell first. So since I'm inside my desktop, I can say make directory, let's say um bliss code python, bliss code python class 1, right? If I say enter, then I can cd into bliss code python class 1. So this bliss code python, I'm saying make directory, that means make a folder. So if I go to my desktop, this is the folder. Can you see it? Bliss code python. Yes. So this is the folder. So now I'm going to delete this. Okay. So this is one way of doing that. I can just delete it. Okay. So I can come here and just delete it, right? So now that I've deleted it, another way to create a folder is when you go to your file explorer and then come to desktop where you want to have all your files, and then create a new folder and name the folder, let's say bliss code python class 1. So I can open this folder. So now that I have created a folder, you can now go back to your VS Code, then open folder. and open the Bliss Code folder that you created. So this means that you have an empty folder. There's nothing inside the folder. So what you can do is, here you have new file, you have new folder, you have refresh and so on. So here you can say the first file we'll be creating will be variables.py. So if you are trying to create a Python file must end with an extension .py. That makes it a Python file. So if you are creating a um, um, a file in Python, what tells the computer that okay, this is not any other kind of file, this is a Python file, is when you end it with the extension .py. It tells the It's just like for JavaScript. If you want to create a JavaScript file, you say .js or .ts for TypeScript, or for Java you say .java. Do you understand? For C you say .c, to tell the computer that this is the kind of file that I want to create. So now we have created variables.py inside the Bliss Code Python class 1. So now that's for those who are using um, VS Code. Now I'm going to go back to this because I believe that a lot of us are using this. So now that you have your idle open, you can click on file, then open Bliss Code, open the folder. Do you understand? So when you open the folder, you go to your desktop and then open Bliss Code, then variables.py. But since you have not created, you can easily just say new. Just create your folder and then open. So I'll wait for all of us to be on the same page. So in the meantime, I will explain what a variable is in Python. Like I said, when you are having a programming language, there are certain things that are in all programming languages, like variables, functions, loops, conditional statements, and all of that. So variable is like the beginning of everything. So I'm going to share what a variable is. A variable is a container where you store data values. So unlike other programming languages like Java and the rest of that, you don't have like a command to declare variable. So you create one the moment you first assign variable. Do you understand? Let's say for if let's say I'm writing JavaScript, I can probably first say const. This is a JavaScript syntax. So I'm going to delete it. I just want to like explain what I just said. So const name, meaning that I have created a variable called name. Then later in my code, if I want to add a value into the box called name, I can now say name is equal to Tara. But for Python, that's not the case. For Python, the moment you assign a value to a variable, you have created the variable. So let's say in Python now, if you want to create a variable called name, you just say name is equal to Tara. So now if you say print name and you run this, it will print what is inside the box name. So for people in VS Code, you already have it here. Name is equal to Tara, print name. So what you need to do is you can run. Is either you click here, run without debugging, or you just you just press Control J to show you your terminal. So when you are inside the terminal, you can now say Python variables.py. Then it runs it. Do you understand? Which of the parts did you not get? Which parts, please? I use that as an example. Yes, I use that as an example. That is not a Python syntax. That is a JavaScript syntax, and you will not be using that in Python. Do you understand? I was saying that Python, if you want to, like I said, a variable is like a box where you store a particular data inside, right? So let's say you want to say name, you want to store a person's name. You can say name is equal to Tara, and the computer understands it that you just created a variable. But when you are doing that in some other programming languages, you might first need to create the variable before you now start adding a value inside the variable that you created. So for JavaScript, I used an example of JavaScript, for instance. Instead of saying name is equal to Tara, I might first say const name. Then maybe in another line, I will now say name is equal to Tara. Do you understand? But for Python, you just go straight to the point. Is that understood? Please, can I get a response? Yeah, so now that it is understood, so I can say, how did I get it into VS Code? Is that your question? It is the same file, it's the same folder. So the fact that, yes, it's the same file. The fact that I opened it in two places. Yes, the fact that I opened it in two places is still the same thing I'll be seeing as far as I save. If I come here, is if I come here and where is it? Here. If I come here and save this, you know that I've gotten rid of a space here. So I save this. If I go back to VS Code, it is the same thing I'll see because it is the same file. As far as I'm working on it and I save, it will be the same thing I would see here. Do you understand? So here on VS Code, if you are running on VS Code, let me close this so I can show you again. So if you are running, the first thing you want to do is open your terminal. So you either come here to this top menu, click on terminal and click on new terminal. It shows you your terminal where you can run the code. So another way to run your code, a shortcut to running to get you to your terminal is you press J, Control and J, and it will get to your terminal. That is like the shortcut for running getting into your terminal. So when once you are in your terminal, you can now say Python variables, the name of the file .py, and it will run what is in that file for you. Is that clear? So now I've given this name is equal to Tara. So now I want to say her name is, so if I run this now, I should get her name is Tara. Is that understood? Do you understand? So this class is supposed to finish by 6 p.m., but because we had a bit of challenge from the start, I would just extend it. I would give an extension of like 30 more minutes so that at least we can get something done today. Is that okay? Okay, so if I come here, I don't know why I do as refuse to pick it, but let's just edit this one and say, okay, so if you run this now, you get a name is Tara. So that brings us to, so that is what basically a variable is in Python. You use it to collect a particular value and store it inside. It's like a pause where you store something inside. So for instance, it might not just be alphabets you want to store inside. Let's say you want to store age is equal to 30, then you want to print. So this print is a Python inbuilt function that helps you display whatever it is you have written, you want to display. Do you understand? So it is this print that tells you her name is Tara. So now you have name is Tara, age is 30. So you can say something like her name is name, she is she is okay. She is age, okay, age years old. So if I run this now, okay, there's a syntax error. Oh, yeah, this is, I didn't close this quote. Yes. So if I run this, you get, her name is Tara. She is 30 years old. So that is basically what um, variables are. Python variables or any variable in any programming language, what it does is that it collects a particular data and stores it, so that when you want to use the data, you can refer to the variable name, and then it will display whatever is inside the variable for you. Any questions on variable? Any questions, please, before we move to the next thing? Okay, fine. So if you look at this code well, you will see that in some places I used quotes, some places I used just the text, and here when I use name is equal to Tara, I put it in quotes. Here I said age is equal to 30, I did not use quotes. So these things are dependent on the data types you are using. What variable is that variable will collect a data type, a data. So this is actually a data. It's to collect a data and store it inside. Do you understand? So age is the variable, 30 is the data, name is the variable, Ara is the data. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay, so fine. So now I'm going to so just close this, save this and close it, and open another file inside your Bliss Code Python class 1, and call it data types dot data types dot py. So I'm just going to open data types dot py. Data types dot py. So like I was saying before we started, before we installed Python and started coding, I was saying something about all programming languages having some sets of rules that govern them and makes them a legit programming language. One of them is what is called comments, right? So let's just open another file and call and say comments.py. So we'll come back to data types.py later. Open another file and save it as comments.py. Yes, please, comments. And please make sure that you are saving inside the folder for the class. Okay, comments.py. Is everybody following along? Because it's seeming like it's just one person that is following along. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, so now that you are in comments, so I was saying something about golden rules for programming languages, one of which is comments. Every programming language has a way that comments are made in the programming language. So basically, what comments is that comments is telling the computer, leave this part of the code, is for human beings, it's not for you to run. So whenever the computer is running a program and it comes across a comment, it just skips and goes to the next thing. It does not try to run that particular code because that is a comment. Comments are usually for human beings to probably understand the code better, or maybe you're trying to explain something in the code and things like that. So that is what comments are. And there are two ways of writing comments in most programming languages. So in Python is not any different. You have the inline comments, and then you have the multi-line comments. So the inline comments means comments per line. Do you understand? So if I want to write, okay, let's say, what is a comment? So definitely, if I do this and I run it, I'm going to get an error because I'm just writing. The computer would not understand what I mean by what is a comment because it is not actually the way it should be written in Python. So if I run this now, I'm going to get a syntax error, invalid syntax, meaning that it is wrong. But actually, I want the computer to skip this because it is not meant for the computer to execute, but it's meant for me to understand. Okay. So it is meant for me to understand, not for the computer to run that particular code. So what I do is I will comment it out. So if I say this, so an hashtag is what you use for inline comments in Python. So when you put an hashtag like this, what is a comment? If you run this, you won't get an error because it is it is a comment and we have not written any new code, so you won't get an error because the computer will not run it. So does anybody understand what a comment is? Okay. So um I can say a comment is a written piece that you don't want the computer to execute. So if you are probably a programmer or you are accustomed to, when some programmers talk, you hear something like maybe they're having a particular line of code is giving them an error. You just hear something like, I commented it out, meaning that I have selected that part that is giving me error and I have told the computer not to execute it. I've turned it into a comment. So that's what it means. So there are two types. There are two types of comments: inline comments Please, I hope you are doing the same thing along. Yes. Okay, there are two types. Inline comments are comments within a single line. Comments within a single line. Then you have multi-line comments. Okay, represented by an hashtag. Then you have multi-line comments. Comments across multiple lines. Represented by three single quotes for opening and three single quotes for closing, making six. So multi-line comments. Comments example. So you have, and then you have, then in the middle of it, you can put, in fact, you can write a whole page. As far as this, what you are writing is inside these six quotes, it will be commented. So let's say you are saying, okay, this file is all about comments and how they are made in Python files. So even if you go to the next line by pressing enter and say this is just an example of multi-line comments, you can use it for an entire page as long as it is between or within the quotes. Is that understandable? Do you guys understand? Okay, so if we come back here now and say name is equal to Tara, print and name is Tara, age is equal to 30, print and name is name, she is 8 years old. So you can say here, you can, let's define variables. Variables are containers that store data. Then you can say the variable is on the left side. Let's just do it like that. So I want the files to be something that when you go back to, you can easily pick up from where we stopped in class. So you can say the variable is on the left side and the data stored is, is on the left side. Data stored is on the right side of the equal to sign. So if you had to run this again, it will exclude everything that you have commented out and just run your code. Her name is Tara, she's 30 years old, or her name is Tara, she's 30 years old. Yeah. So I think we've done justice to variable. So now we have 5 minutes to talk about data types. So I'm just going to briefly take you through data types. We'll not be able to go in depth about when talking about data types, but I'm just going to like briefly explain to you so that you understand. The next instructor would do justice to that. So I'm just going to give you like a brief introduction to what data types are in Python. Is that okay? Okay, so now go to your data. Okay, which of them? Okay, this is very, yes. So let me share comments as well. This is comments. Now we're in data types. So does anybody understand? Can anybody tell me what they understand by data types? Nobody. So data types are the classification of data or the way you categorize data. It's basically, just like the word data types, is the type of data. Do you understand? So there are different types of data. So basically, data types are types of data. So there are different types of data and they represent um, the kind of value that tells what operations can be performed on a particular data. Do you understand? So these types or this classification of data will tell you what you can do with it and what you cannot do with it. For instance, let's say, let me just, What operations can be done on that particular data. So this is what I mean. For instance, if you have, this is a data, like we used, we said this is the variable, and what you have on the right hand side is the data itself. So if we are saying name is equal to Yemi, and let's say score is equal to 60. So this is a data type that is different from this. So generally, because I'm using um this type of data, it tells me that I don't need a quote. I don't need to put it inside a quote. And because I'm using this data, means that I have to use a quote. I would explain further. But that is basically another example is I can say percentage. So I'm creating another variable called percentage is equal to 60 divided by 100. Because this is a particular type of data, I can use this, I can make calculations on it. I cannot say Yemi divided by something else. It will throw an error because on a norm, this kind of data I cannot use mathematical or arithmetic calculations on it. Do you understand? Okay, so if I now say let's print uh, um, Yemi's grade. So if I do this now and I run it, it gives me the percentage, the calculation of the 60, that's the score variable, divided by the 100 that I did. But if I say, okay, but if I say Yemi divided by 100, there will be a problem because that particular type of data cannot um, accept arithmetic calculations. So the kind of data will tell you what you can use with it or how you can go about using it. So, with that said, there are different types of data in Python types. So, there are different types of data, and I'm just going to write out the data types. You have the numeric. You have, okay. The first one is strings. You have the string. You have the numeric datas, numbers, or let's just say data, numeric data. So under this numeric data, you have integers, which is represented by ints. You have floats, which is represented by floats represented by floats. So integers are whole numbers. Floats are decimal, decimal, decimal figures. Two, how would I put it now? Two places decimal figure. I don't know if that's the correct word, but let's say you want to write the price of something, for instance. Let's say, e.g., price of a particular, especially those people that do the price of, instead of them to tell us, the price of this shoe is 7,000 naira, they'll say the price is 6999.99. Who wants to collect one kobo change? So let's say you have the price of this, um 6,099.99. So this is what float is for. Float will help you calculate your, it's usually used for money actually, but you can use it for other things, where you calculate the net to the last couple, especially when you are working in a bank or something. You can't be approximating, you have to get the exact value. Most times you work with float. So we have boolean values, boolean data rather. We have boolean is usually something like yes or no, true or false. So basically, boolean is true or false. Like, you are saying if something is true, you want to check if something is true, or you want to check if something is false. That's basically what booleans are. Then you have sequence types. So sequence types data rather, sequence types. Under this is where you have um what's it called now? You have your lists. What you mean by sequence basically is a um how would I put it now? You know, when you talk about string, you talk about a one particular data, name Yemi, age or score 60, percentage, e get one particular data. But when you talk about sequence, you get to store more than one data inside a particular variable. So when you use a sequence type of data, you get to store. more than one value for more than one value in your variable. So this is one of the things I don't like about this I do. Okay, so example, so you have lists, each scores, okay, maybe students is equal to, then you have a list. Let me see the list of students we have here. Catherine, um, Emmanuel, Jehosheba. So you have a list where you can say Catherine, uh, Jehosheba. So here now, it is evident that you can store more than one data. It's unlike string and the number data types that you can only store one data at a time. Here you can store more than one data. That is what is known as sequence. You can store more than one data in a particular variable. So another one is set. Then you have dictionary. You also have okay. So I wouldn't put dictionary here actually. So you have list, you have tuple, and then you have set. Then okay, okay. So what this use um basically when you are using a sequence type data, you are basically using um all the other ones I've talked about. You can store more than one string, you can store more than one number or integer or float or whatever it is in a particular variable. So you can be, for instance, this is a list of strings. You can have a list of numbers. You can even have a list of both string and numbers. You can have a list of tuple and so on and so forth. So let's just put set on its own. Then you have another, this is set, and then you have dictionary. So basically, I've explained what a a string is. I've explained what um, numeric data are. And okay, so now I think I've explained what a list is. I've explained, okay, I've not done justice to tuple. We have very limited time. But an example of tuple, I'm sure the next instructor would. In fact, we have covered a lot of things. We are supposed to just stop at installation of Python and then continue from the next class. But I believe that you people, you can take more. So A tuple is written like this. So you have um let's say you have scores is equal to 40, 45, 70, 87. So now this is what a tuple looks like. And then sets okay. Let me give examples of each e.g. Okay. A Python set. Um I'm sure you are all familiar with what a set is, especially if you have done mathematics in your early days. I'm sure you understand what a set is. So, really, to write a set, you just do you do something like this. Okay, so let's say, please hold on. Hello? Yeah, I'm in a class. I have. Yeah, I'm in a meeting. I'm trying to round up. Yes, sorry for the break in transmission. So where were we? We're in set. So let's say e.g. fruits is equal to, let's say, apple, mango. I don't know what's agbalumo in English. Who has an idea of what agbalumo is in English? Cherry, ba? Yeah, cherry. I remember. Cherry, cherry. What other fruit can help with? Let's say orange, etc. So this is how to write a set. I would have really loved to explain what all of this is, but I know that I've made the job easier for the next instructor to take you on what data types are. So each here is where you have an object, something like my car is equal to. Does anybody understand what an object is? Because I just mentioned objects now. Does anybody have an idea of what an object is? So, okay, someone wants to say something. Oh, okay. So basically, an object is like an object. there's this joke. There's this joke that people, or maybe when I was learning Python, so there's this joke that our teacher, started, and everybody started doing that. You get. So because of the way object was explained to us, an object is like an entity. Do you understand? And the basic things about objects is that it can, what it has, or let's say what it is and what it can do. Do you understand? Like a car has a model, a car has a color, and all of those things. Then that is what it is. Then it has what it can do. Like it can move, it can maybe probably reverse and some other things like that. So usually when you want to, like, maybe abuse somebody, you say this, you this bloody object, because you believe that you are an entity. You have what you are, and then you have what you can do, and that makes you a person. And so a person is an object. Do you understand? So you can say something like, you're a bloody object. People who are not programmers might not understand what you mean, but that's just the basic. So, e.g., we have my car. Don't mind me, I'm not funny. Nobody laughed, but it is well. Okay, so here we have brand. Let's say you have, what brand? What brand? What brand? Toyota. Then you have color, red. And let's say you have, what else can we have? Maybe the model, the model. Let's say 2020. I don't really know much about models, but let's just put it that way. So this makes for an object, and that's the basic reason why, because of this dictionary, Python um, is an object-oriented programming language. So I'm sure that when all of these are explained well, you can now understand what object-oriented programming is, and then you can understand these data types and how it is being used. So I guess this is the end of today's class. But before then, I would like to hear from you. So now, all of this, like I said, they are inside comments. So if you are going to run this is the only thing that it will execute. And I would also like to let you know that Python is a programming language that runs per line. So it will start from the first line, move to the second line, the third line, fourth, fifth, and all of that. So now, if you have um, uh, comments here, it will skip all where you have comments, go to the line that does not have comments, execute, 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 move again. That is how Python is. So now you have percentage here, 60 over 100. So if I come here, you are printing percentage as 60 over 100. So if I come here and say the percentage has changed, the percentage is now 70%, because how can Yemi feel? So 70%. So the percentage is 70. 70%. Okay. Then I say print percentage. What do you think the results will be? Anybody? Before I run it. Don't do Ojoro and run it on your system. So what do you think the answer will be before we run it? Okay, let's just run it. No, 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 no. Hold on. Let's not even use. Let's just say 70. So now if you run this, it will give you 70. So the first thing is, it will start from the beginning of the file. When the percentage was 0.6, it printed out 0.6, just like you have here. When it was 0.6, it printed out 0.6. So now that it is 70, it's printing out 70. That's where you have 0.6 and you have 70. Is that understood? So now I'm ready for what you have to say. Can I hear from you? Has the class been? Was it a good entry for you? Do you have any questions, suggestions, multiplication, addition, anything? Please let me know. Please let me hear from you. Yes, please talk. Please, I've given you guys the floor. Please talk. Tell me your name so I can know what to refer you as, and then tell me whatever it is you want to tell me. Thank you for that, Jehosheba. And we are sorry. In fact, should I kneel down? We are really, really sorry. Today is the first day. Today is the first day. And, well, I didn't get a lot of things right, you know, trying to like, because I guess you guys had an onboarding session. But for we, the mentors, there was not anything like that per se. Do you understand? So it was today I got to understand that, okay, I'll get a link and all of that, and everything was not playing as I thought that it would just play out. And I had a bit of struggle with recording and all of that. And it was very important for me to use this particular link and not create my own link, because this link is a premium Google Meet link that will allow us to have a recorded version of the meeting. So if I go ahead and print and create links on my own, I don't use Google Meet Premium, and that would mean that we would have forfeited everything that we have said today. So I really apologize. I'm sure that subsequent classes would not be like that. And I understand the frustration. Trust me, I understand, but I believe that we would definitely get better. You're welcome. Any other person, please, everybody must talk. Oh. I'm waiting for everybody to talk. If not, we'll sleep here today. You will see me in your maybe in your house or wherever it is you are. Okay, please. Let's hear from you, Catherine, Emmanuel. I don't know if I should call you Dixon or Emmanuel. Emmanuel, Yomi, Mary, Titilayo, Dada. Please, let's hear from all of you. And who else do we have here? We have, I think, yes. And okay, okay. Please go on. Are you done? Okay. Emmanuel, thank you very much for your observation. That is duly noted. We would work on that. I would make sure that in my next class I have slide, and I'm also still promising you a slide. I would take my time to put it together and send it to the group where people who can relate with slides can make use of it. Thank you. And well, the timing, I don't know. The timing was not set by me actually. I think there's a timetable for all the courses that this program is handling. And Python tends to fall on Tuesdays and I think Thursdays also. I'm not very sure. So, but everything you said have been duly noted. So, Titilayo, can we hear from you, please? Catherine, Catherine, please, can we hear from you? You people are leaving me alone to talk to myself. Okay, I guess that's fair. So, Catherine, and okay, Oh, Titilayo is in transit. Okay, that's fine. But Catherine, uh, don't worry. You would talk in the in fact, you would present in the next class. Thank you so much for taking out time to be in this session. I hope that you have gained a lot. Like I said, I will put together a slide for um that I will share on the WhatsApp group. But that will not be tonight because I have some other things to do. But definitely, I'm going to do that. And I've taken note of everything you have said. And of course, we are here to like serve you better. And let's see how it goes, right? So thank you so much. And forgive me, oh, forgive me. Really. I know that I won't. Now that I've gotten a hang of it, I don't think that there's any need to continue in sin. All right. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Take care of yourself. If you have any questions, and of course, assignments, I'm going to give you a task to do. Yes, I'll send it to the WhatsApp group. But that might not be tonight, like I said. And the task might be tonight because I recently had a Python class that I still have the assignments that I gave them. So I can just copy out the task and send to you. So that might be tonight. But the slide, please don't expect it tonight. If you have any other questions or any other concerns, please send it to the WhatsApp group. And of course, I or the other instructors can take it up from there and give you clarity on what you need clarity on. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Please have a wonderful evening. Thank you.